So I'm just going to start with a cube and then scale it. Get this to be a bit more of a realistic size. A bit further up. There we go. Now I'm gonna model in our windows. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go into edge select mode, top view mode, select these like edges, the corners, and then just actually go back into object mode and then apply the rotation and scale, then go into edit mode, control B, and then just drag out. I think about there is fine. This probably isn't the right size. And to create the door, it's a fairly similar process. It's gonna be kind of like this, except I'm actually gonna delete the bottom. And then I'm gonna grab just these top edges. Again, apply the rotation and scale first, because otherwise the bevel can be a bit off. Probably around there. Maybe around there. I'm gonna make like the frame a little bit more, rigid. So go into face select mode and then grab this face loop and then shift D S and then drag out and then separate that and then just solidify. And then I'm going to scale it out on the x-axis. Okay, and then apply that, solidify. Maybe 0.005 on that. 0.003 maybe. I'm not actually sure if these are the correct size yet. I mean, obviously the window is way too big if the door is the correct size, which I actually don't think the door is the correct size, but yeah, the window's probably closer. The topology is a bit messed up on this. I'm gonna select this and hit slash. If you hover over this bottom edge and then press Control R, it will actually create vertices instead of edge loops like it normally would. So if you scroll up, then you can create more vertices, and then if you scroll down, then you can scroll down to one vertex. And if you just left click, if I go into vertex select mode, you see that this was created here. So I'm going to go into right view mode and then vertex select mode and then press K and then click that vertex and then A so that it's just like vertical in terms of my edge that I'm creating, and then just go down to the bottom, click enter, and then K again, click there, A, click there, enter. Same thing on the left side. And now I can add an edge loop here. I'm gonna go into face select mode and then select this face loop and then press ES Shift Z and then just drag out, SX, drag out. And then I'm gonna go into edge select mode and then select this edge loop and then GZ, move that down. And now we have something that looks like this. We can add a subdivision and just add some edge loops to sharpen things out. So this one's pretty important. This one up here. Maybe I'll add another one here. I'm gonna press slash now to go back to here. And I think our door is shaping up pretty well. I'm going to select all of these. And then press I. So turning the subdivision off here can kind of help because like it's kind of hard to see what's going on if it's on. So just scale that in on the x-axis. Make sure you don't go past the other like, yeah, so you don't want it to like bounce off and then go in the other direction. Probably around there is good. And then I'm gonna go into right view mode and then grab this area, and then scale that on the z-axis by 0, and then just assign a glass material to this area. So what I'm going to do is go to Archimesh and then panel window and delete it. Archimesh is an add-on, so if you go to edit preferences, Archimesh, and then check that, and then after doing that you'll see this. Right? So after you add like that panel window, then you'll have these other materials, and I'm going to set this to glass. I'm going to get rid of that. Materials are a topic that I've covered previously, and it's boring to be honest, but basically just UV unwrap all of these by just applying the scale and then just grabbing an object and then selecting the entirety of it, and then use Smart UV project, and then do the same thing for the next object. And if you have an object that has like multiple pieces, so like if I have like this other cube that's part of the same object, then I shouldn't just press a use Smart UV project. I should hover over this, use Smart UV project, and then do the same thing for this one. Otherwise, it kind of does something like it UV projects all of them at the same time, which gives kind of weird results. Let's just delete that. And sometimes subdivisions and bevels can get in the way of like materials. Yeah, so you can see that here. To fix something like this, yeah, let me try sharpening this. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're almost done with this. So there's actually a lot going on with the glass material that I used. So I have, this is like the normal setup that you get with the glass material that I showed how to add. But then I also have some dirt added, and then I'm mixing that with a 0.06 factor. And then I'm also using a refraction of 0.8. The default is 1. I just find that 1 is too, like, it looks like there's basically nothing there instead of glass sometimes. And then I have this add dirt function where I'm just blending two different colors and using a Musgrave, right? So starts from here, just using a Musgrave with the object in this vector. So this is the node setup. And then that is being plugged into an overlay, and I'm plugging in a color and a dirt. So these are going to be our inputs, and then the output is just the result of that overlay. So if I click the group output and press tab again, I'm just using the same function for the roughness. And of course you can choose your colors, but I went with 0.5, 0.382 here, and then 0.5, 0.382. And then the wall material that I use also uses this add dirt function. Probably went a bit too high on the normal strength. Maybe something like 0.002 or 0.003 would be better. The noise, similar to the Musgrave, actually basically the exact same, but using a noise texture instead of a Musgrave. And this is just going into a bump that's going into the normal. Make sure you connect this to the height. If you connect it to the normal, then you'll get some weirdness. And then for this color amp, make sure you don't go with something too dramatic. I'm going with 0.42 on the left end and then 0.58 on the right end. And then this here is like the main color that you want to use. So I'm going with something slightly bluish. And then for this frame, I think I'm also going to apply that same walls material. And then for the window, it's a fairly similar process. So I'm going to use the knife tool. And then Shift D, S, and then drag out. Okay, I'm just going to delete those. Get that centered. Okay. And this is just going to be the same glass material. Actually, that's the wrong one. This is going to be our wall material.